So I'm thinking that, well, when Carl Jung was, he's still alive.
No.
He did pass away then. That's what I thought. I wasn't sure. But I can remember reading about him years ago, like maybe 30 years ago. Maybe bits and pieces I can think of is that he did all his surgeries through studying of astrology. And he said, I would never do any type of serious surgery or any serious surgery where if the moon, the sun, or the rising was in Cancer, because it's a water sign.
Wow.
So it had something to do, I don't know how he knew that, but he must have studied it. So, and a lot of people think that astrology is bugaboo, but it is not. It's all scientific, and it's realistic. Now, for people that famous to study it and implement it in the medical field for surgery, got to be something to it.
Right.
The man's a genius.
Yeah, he was.
Like you.
Well, it's very nice to be compared to Carl,
That's nothing problem with that, right? What do you have there now? You have some other features that you want to show us? I really want to show your work because it's so beautiful, so out of the ordinary, and you're very rarely gifted in that sense.
Well, you know, I started out as a painter, and I brought one painting from that era, and just because I thought that might be of interest.
You did mostly oils, though. That's very difficult. I used to do oils, but I just don't have the patience. I know it's silly. Maybe after I retire, maybe I'll have the patience. And things can hit you, like, you know, a ton of brooks all of a sudden. What do you mean you don't like oil?
Most of my paintings are really, really large. I don't have very many left, but this was a portrait I did, an oil portrait of Lynn Root, who was an amazing writer, an Algonquin writer.
Do you want to just bring it up?
83 when I did
When you
this.
say Algonquin, does that relate to the Indians?
No, she was one of the writers who hung out in the Algonquin Hotel. All the famous writers in that era.
Nice.
I met her at a residency, and she was very old. She was 83, 84, but beautiful, you know, just so. I was doing portraits of my friends in the Lower East Side. I was working, you know, I was very young. I was working in a art store, and then at night I would always invite someone over for 2 hours to make sure that I worked.
Isn't that amazing?
And then I started selling the portraits, and then I eventually could quit my job. But I have just a few. I did a show called Tribe, and it's all these characters from the Lower East Side. In the early 80s, it was pretty exciting.
Also, that was a big melting pot era then.
Fabulous.
More so than now. I think
now it's,
people are maybe a little intimidated to move there now. Maybe they think it's just too old or threats.
You know, when I moved there, it was $325 a month. Now it's $3,000 a month. So artists aren't moving there anymore. But anyway,
still the culture remains the best in the world to me.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know about Europe. I've never been to Europe, but I've always wanted to, and I'm sure the culture is similar, but on a different level.
I think actually in New York you have more of a community.
Okay.
In Europe you have there's a level of sophistication. It's interesting having taught in Europe, taught American students in Europe with Tyler School of Art in Rome. And then I moved to Germany and taught German students as an American. And that was very interesting because the American students were very incredible at spontaneity, made great work, but they had a very hard time articulating why they did the work they did.
You're kidding.
Or reading about, or being informed contextually about what they did historically. But when you went to the German artists, they were very comfortable with, you know, research and content and reading and writing, but they had a very hard time being spontaneous. So for me as an artist, it was wonderful to
That's really different than
having these experiences.
But that's nice. You could compare and contrast that. That means a lot.
Both good, but both different. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What do we got next?
Well, I started out as a painter and did very large work, and then stopped painting, hit a wall with painting, and took a trip to India.
Oh, that must have been seriously interesting.
And in India, everything's carved, every building, every staircase. So I came back and bought marble, and I started carving stone. And I did an exhibition in New York, my first one-person exhibition, and I was very fortunate because I sold almost all the pieces.
Amazing.
And that kind of made me think, well, this has never happened before. Maybe I'm
What
on
a
the right
credibility.
track.
Yeah, you are on the right track.
So
That was good.
I decided, I really didn't know what I was doing carving. I was being self-taught. So I went to Italy and I got a studio, which sounds elaborate, but it's actually not. You can actually rent a table this big outside for $150 a month.
Kidding me, that's
and you get
wonderful.
the stone shipped
For the
in,
month?
and you're working, well, maybe now it's more, but
But still, that's good.
yeah, and you work with the best.
Sure, it's not-
You know, you
that's
work
great.
with the men who have been carving stone for 10 generations.
Sure.
And they're serious, you know.
Hey, we built a pyramid. Come on.
Exactly. So that was great because I met, and you know, you had to be in that studio early, or you were they didn't want you there. But at night, you met all these young international artists that were all there
Amazing.
for the same. I made some lifelong friends there. So.
That's nice. That's nice to have that.
Yeah.
So what else do we have there? We have 8 minutes.
Oh, 8 minutes. Okay. These are the new drawings I'm doing. Actually, really new, like the last month. They're kind of paintings on paper.
Oh, that's really beautiful.
And I just decided that
Painting on paper.
I'd kind of go back to painting
Okay.
because the public art takes so long, and I just want to facilitate some new ideas. So I started doing these. And they're definitely, you know, influenced by some of my favorite painters.
Very,
Here's
very
another one.
nice.
And they're
Oh,
colorful, which is a nice change. You know?
That's different, like pink and...
Still have some balls,
Yep.
right? And here's one more. I've done quite a few of these. I just brought a few.
Isn't that so?
So
That's
they
good
do
enough.
lend themselves. They could work as sculptures, you know.
Right.
And then the Dynamo series was a series of sculptures. But they're-
Dynamo.
Yeah, and it's basically also
Now we'll take this
Drawings.
down. Thank you.
And this is a series of drawings. This was the poster for the exhibition. So it's kind of like energy,
Beautiful.
you know.
She has on high top boots.
She has high top boots on. There's three. There's Baby Dynamo. The person who bought it calls it Snooky Dynamo. There's
Snooky Dynamo. got it.
kind of the
Yeah, 5
young
minutes.
Dynamo, and then that's the mature Dynamo. This is the middle one. So they all have a little bit of humor. These are ink on paper.
So you did like what type? Pen and ink?
Yeah, these
Oh,
are ink
that's
on
nice.
paper. And the sculptures came first. The sculpture is I have it. It's a porcelain piece. I did them in all different colors, so you can see the similarity. In this case, the sculpture came first and the drawings came second.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Very nice. I'm going to just set this down easily.
Sure.
Okay.
Cumbersome with the frames.
This here is like a bronzy.
This is a cast statuary. That's also, I work with
Cast.
molds a lot.
Nice.
This is some pieces I had on Governor's Island, if you want
I
to
can
hold it up.
imagine the size of your studio.
It's beautiful. I have a great studio. It's not, you know, it's just a great studio. It's high
Okay.
ceilings. These are Angel Baby. This is in a private collection.
All right.
It was on Governor's Island. This is,
I've been to Governor's Island.
it's great.
I used to actually clean houses there. I
Really?
used to drive all the way in.
It's beautiful.
I got paid good money too. The people there were lovely, and it's a nice little community.
Yes,
All by
excellent.
itself.
Beautiful.
The banks, the groceries, and the people were always friendly.
Yeah, it's a nice setup. This
Yeah.
is Dark Angel. This was at the Schroebel Library
Bring it a
in
little bit.
Adelphi.
Towards, that's it.
Yeah, it's very hard to see with the book.
Okay, he's gonna come and bug us.
And then there is Blossom, which is 14 feet, also in a
Wow.
private collection.
That's huge.
And these are all cast resin.
So you did a little resin work.
I do a lot of resin work, and I do a lot of my finishing work in the auto body shop.
You know the Lorette Covery then, right?
I know Lorette, she's one of my best friends.
She was on the last
Yeah.
show last week, the past month I had her on.
Yeah, she's terrific.
She's amazing. She wore her original painting pants. I said, you still fitting them? Get out of here.
Yeah, she's,
She looked really
I'm very
good.
happy she's in Oyster Bay. We see each other a lot.
Yeah.
And then this is a marble piece I did in Italy. This is Belgian black marble. And then this is a large life-size piece that was also on Governor's Island.
Beautiful.
And that's Persian travertine, because I
Okay.
shipped a lot of stone back.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, if anyone wants to visit the studio in Oyster Bay,
Okay, I
that'd
would
be
like
wonderful. I hope you come too.
that. I will. Do you have
And,
one more picture over there? We have like 2 minutes.
I'll tell you, just for fun, I'll show you my first sculpture, just put it in context.
This one here or that one?
This one.
And it's made out of wood?
This is carved mahogany and ebony
How do you
and
do
bronze. And actually, this is I was working with a sculptor, Eduardo Chavez, up in Woodstock. And he was a sculptor, and I was his intern. I said, can I just work in your studio and help you? And he taught me how to carve and stuff.
Wonderful.
Yeah, he was wonderful. And no
So
one
you
was there.
actually took a whole block of wood and worked on it from there,
Yeah,
correct?
the one at
Okay.
Adelphi right now is 14 feet. It's
Wow.
a tall piece of wood called
Amazing.
Last Love,
Oh.
part of the biennial.
So we have everything shown so far. We
I
did
can
everything.
show one more. I did this
Yes.
series in Germany. It was shown at the Andy Warhol Museum. It's
I've
Black
seen his
Flowers.
works. His works was in, what do you call, Richmond, Virginia. I used to live there, and I saw the Andy Warhols, all of them. They were gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Yeah, this was in his museum. But it's a series of drawings of black flowers.
Isn't that amazing?
And I did, there's about, let's see, 9 of these.
So pretty.
Yeah.
You are so talented, woman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very so good. Well, okay, so I haven't seen a thing yet. Do you have one other?
Sure.
Sure.
I've got plenty.
We have time. Yeah, we have another minute, I think.
I can also show you the satyr heads, which are cast resin.
Oh, wow.
This is antlers, and I cast a deer's head, my face, and then a friend's face.
Okay.
And put these together. And then I'll show you another marble piece.
We got 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Okay. This was my first sculpture, cut out of marble. And
That
this
was from before, yeah.
was the wood.
Yeah. What is this here?
This is years. They're rings, and it's like horseshoes. Every year I throw another ring on.
That's nice.
Yeah.
How many rings?
I'm not saying.
Hey. We want to know. Tell us now. Hurry up.
This is weed head. This is carved alabaster on a river rock.
Alabaster?
So it's.
How do you, that's
I
expensive.
used to like to push the marble to the point where it broke, and then it would be kind of interesting.
So you would know just how far you could go.
Well, so I sometimes broke things I didn't want to break, but when you're carving something for a year,
Oh, my God.
and suddenly you can, it's like a mantra, and then all of a sudden you have a dialogue because you have to land it, you have to figure something out.
Right. Looks like we're going to be tossed off here to the public. Look at
Okay.
this. That's really nice
I
of you.
hope you come to the
Jerelyn.
studio, and it was.
I
thank
really
you for having
appreciate.
me.
Thank you so much. I want you to come again now.
Yeah, I'd like to see your work as well.
I would like to do that, and I
Okay.
really want to have your husband here. I want him to.
Well, he's not my husband anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shoot the guy. Just
That's
kidding.
okay.
So what happened? You're divorced?
I'm divorced.
That's okay. How many
Yeah.
years?
About 3.
That's not bad. I've been divorced, married, and divorced 4 times, so I'm an pro
You're ahead
at
of
it.
me.
I have to write a book like you have here. Marianne's 4 divorces. Okay,
Anyway.
so I guess we're finished.
Okay.
Okay,
was a good
thank you
ending.
so much.